All right, everyone, just wanted to do a quick, well, maybe not so quick, update to what I've been doing with my Gen 3 Prius inverter project. Got the logic board replaced, so it's a version V1C that I'm continuing to work with. Some things that I've updated, I've put a quadrature type encoder with an AB channel. Also has a index, but the index I've left disconnected. It's in this roll of wire somewhere. But anyway, the index is not being used. I've got my handy dandy E46 throttle pedal connected. Let's see, I got a nice power supply that's able to supply 60 volts, 5 amps. So that's a good thing. I've got that connected to the DC bus, powering the inverter with just a 12 volt car battery. Let's see, what else? Oh yeah, so then for my Ampseal 35 connector, I've got that connected up. And then I put together a little project box here just to kind of keep things organized. So basically I have a supply light, high voltage contactor light, and a pre-charge light. And so that allows me to see kind of physically and electronically what the software is doing. So I've got the supply voltage here, so I've got the switch connected with the battery so that I can switch on the power to the project box and to the inverter. I've got a start switch here, reverse direction, forward direction. So I've got all that connected up and set up. So now what I'll do, just to demonstrate, put that on, light comes on, pre-charge comes on. So what I'm going to do to start with is connect to the inverter. All right, there we go. So just to demonstrate, I'm going to stop the inverter, clear everything, and then display error memory just to look. No errors, so that's good. So what I'm going to do is start inverter in manual mode. Inverter started. So what I can do now is put my direction switch to forward. And then what I'll do is I'll change amp nom to 100, and then the slip point to 10. And as you can see, the motor spins, so that's great. Everything seems to be working like it should. So slip point to 0. I'll make amp nom 0 as well. So that's all good. So I'll stop the inverter. Says inverter halted. So that all looks good. So what I'm going to do is cycle the power on my project box here. So flip direction off. So now what I'm going to do is go from manual mode to just a inverter startup mode, and try to use the throttle pedal to control the torque with this motor. So now that I've got the encoder and everything connected up, so what you'll see is I've got some issues that I need to work through, and I'll just go through what I'm gonna attempt to do to try to get that sorted. I'm not sure if I've got some sort of short on the 50-way connector that's on the logic board here, or if I've got something else going on. But anyway, I'll demonstrate the error here. So I'll just put the supply on, and then I've got my start. So pre-charge is on, high voltage contact comes on. So that all looks like it should. Just restarting refreshing the web interface here, so bear with me a moment. So then if I hit display error memory, I get 644 derate current limit. And best I can tell from the Open Inverter forum is that maybe I need to adjust my overcurrent limit. So I'm going to try that right quick and just see if that will. I'm a little skeptical that that's going to work, but I'm going to try it anyway. So I've currently got the overcurrent limit to 650 amps. So someone in the forum said that they were able to get it to work with 3,000 amps. So I'm going to try that. And then what I'll do is save these parameters to flash. I've got a notification that the parameters are stored. So now I'm just going to do this once more. I'm going to get the direction off. I'm going to cycle the power once more on my project box here. And then switch on my high voltage contactor there. And now I'll need to refresh the web interface. There we go. Display air memory. And again, 438 derate current limit. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on there. I am running, let's see here. The software version that I am running is 4.87.r-sign. So this is a 4-pole, just industrial induction motor. So I am running the sign software. I think what I'm going to try now is, well, first let me try this. So I'll switch to the forward direction and I'll also demonstrate this. So then I take my handy dandy E46 throttle pedal, and nothing happens with the motor. So that's a problem, and I do have the forward switch on. So what I'm going to do now is come back over here, and what I'm going to do is stop inverter. I'm going to attempt to update the software from the web interface. So this is version 4.87, so I'm going to try to upload a version 5.00, the sign software, since this is an induction motor. So I'm going to try that. I have compiled the software, and then what I'm going to do is update the firmware over Wi-Fi using the software that I compiled. And so I compiled, like I said, version 5.00, the sign version. So I'm going to try that now. All right, so now what I've done is, so I've got my bin file. So when I originally set everything up, I set it up with a hex file. So I had 4.87, the hex version. So now what I've done in order to do the update is I'm going to use the binary file. So we'll see if that works. So what I've done is I've got the binary file loaded on my iPad here, so I'm going to choose it. stm32_sign.bin. Then I'm going to upload. It's going through a loading bar. Update done. Get a pre-charge in there. So let me just refresh everything. And scroll down to the bottom here. Version 5.00.r-sign. So it looks like the update was successful. It just checks a few of my parameters here. 4.4 kilohertz for the Gen 3 inverter, 4.53 IL1 gain, 4.5 IL2, semicron for the heat sink. Yeah, it looks like everything is here. So I don't need to update any of the parameters. Got a dead time of 130 here. So let me just switch it from pre-charge into start mode here. So that I've done. Refresh. Display error memory. No errors. So looks like there may have been something specific to that version of the firmware 4.87. So yeah, so that's good. Let me see what I've got here in terms of, still get the testing here, slip point 0.53 hertz, amp nom 9.53. I wonder if that's associated with like some sort of idle speed here. Anyway, let me just mash the throttle and see what we got. Directions forward. Nothing with the throttle. Interesting. So I'm just going to switch to neutral. Refresh. And overcurrent error is there. Just display errors again. It says no errors. Display error memory, no errors. But I do have this overcurrent error here. Interesting. Does say neutral. So I'll just try once more. Forward. Refresh. It says forward. And I think what I'm going to do at this point is just pot and POTNOM. Just put those on the graph here. So start plot, and let's see what we got in terms of the looks like the potentiometer. Pot is working. POTNOM is at 0. So I'm thinking that's probably why I'm not getting a response from the motor. So I'll have to look into that a little further. Let's see, let's stop that. Let's see what else we... All right, well, I'll have to have a think about this and just see what I can come up with. All right, stay tuned.